You're listening to GFN 98.7 FM in Gwangju and 93.7 FM in Yosu. I'm John, and I'm interviewing Natalie.
Hello.
Okay, so Natalie, tell us where you're from.
I am from the Greater Toronto area in a small village called Oakville, Southern Ontario, Canada.
Oakville? What's something about Oakville you can tell us? What's Oakville famous for?
Fish and chips, because it's on the marine, so we have a lot of fish, a lot of trout. Thing about Oakville is the performing arts. And I love drama, so there's a very large crowd of people in drama.
What made you want to come to Korea?
Well, the summer of 2012, I was working at a very boring 9-to-5 job, unfulfilling, unsatisfying, and I was thoroughly recommended getting a job teaching English in Korea by a business colleague that taught in Gwangju for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Most people, he said it was a great idea to live abroad, and I was told that it's a great place to teach, pay off student loans, and still live a very comfortable lifestyle. And it makes a great base camp for traveling.
Why did you pick Gwangju in particular?
Gwangju is awesome. It's full of life. The people here are very friendly and approachable. You can find almost anything here in Gwangju. There's a great nightlife scene, and if someone ever says there's nothing to do in Gwangju, they're probably
insane.
They're crazy.
Crazy, yeah. Okay, well, since you've arrived in Gwangju, living as a foreigner, do you think you've encountered any problems?
I think if someone says no, they're probably lying. I'd be very surprised if that was the case. But if you ask me this question, yes, I would have to say there are problems, and they are not uncommon, between ESL teachers and their employees and employers. When I initially read over the contract in August, I noticed that I would be working with other foreign teachers. However, when I arrived, I was working alone as a foreign teacher, and it would be nice to work with someone different, like other than a Korean, like someone from a different country, to get to know them. And also when I arrived, they told me it would be a 10-minute walk, and it was actually 25 minutes away from my apartment. But I enjoy walking, so I'm not complaining that much. And
Keeps you fit.
What keeps me fit, right? It keeps me active in the cold seasons. And last but not definitely least is that I would be working with a class of ranging between 10 to 12 people. And actually, I work with more than 15 students per class. So the classes are a little bit bigger than I was expecting.
Okay, well, do you have any advice that you would give to people who are new in Gwangju?
I think if you can strike up a conversation and you're easygoing and you're friendly, you won't have any problems living in Gwangju, especially if you like lively places. Like downtown Gwangju is great for newcomers. I think the first time I arrived, I made a trip downtown in the first week, and I met a lot of other foreigners at foreign bars. It really helps to get to know the Gwangju Facebook group page before you arrive, and get to know some of the people that are here before you come down to Gwangju for the first time.
What's been your favorite thing that you've done since you've arrived in Korea?
My favorite thing has been the jjimjibang experience. It's a sea salt sauna water experience, and it was in Southwest Korea on the Yellow Sea in Shinan. And if you haven't done it, it's definitely required.
So when did you do that?
This past weekend.
Out the weekend?
Yes, on the weekend.
That sounds fantastic.
It was a small island, and we had a bonfire. And if you can get the chance to do it, I highly recommend it. There's a great beach resort, which is where they have a sauna there. And that's where you get to sit in Korean medicine water and soak all of it in. And if you don't like being naked in front of other people, you can wear pajamas in the baths.
Yeah, or swimming trunks or something, perhaps.
Mm-hmm. Red ones.
Another thing about culture, big thing about culture is food. What do you think of Korean food? Have you had any problems with it, or do you like it?
It's by far the best food I've ever tasted. It beats Mexican food, I think, and I lived in Mexico for a year. So I think the food here, this food is the best food you'll ever try. It's spicy, but it's deliciously healthy for you. And the kimchi is my favorite.
What would be your favorite sort of Korean dinner if you could have anything?
You know
tonight?
what? I think the best dinner that I've had here is dubalki. It's very simple, it's cheap, it's easy to find, and I also like bibimbap. It has protein in it. It's got eggs and rice, full of different natural vegetables. It's easy to find.
Very healthy, of course.
Extremely healthy. That's what I'll have tonight for dinner is bibimbap. Plus, they serve it on the plane.
Really?
So when you come to Korea, make sure to ask for bibimbap on the plane.
It wasn't served on my plane.
You didn't get lucky enough.
No. And how about, well, some famous Korean alcoholic beverages, of course, are things like soju.
I never thought
and
you'd ask.
Makgeolli and things like. Have you tasted anything like that since you've been here?
I've tasted all of them.
So what do you think of soju?
Soju is intense. If you want to have a very good sleep, pretty much put you to sleep.
So would you
very
include this in
strong.
one of the problems that you've encountered since you've arrived?
That was the
in
biggest problem.
Gyeongju then?
And luckily, I was never late for work. I was always on time. And I never drink soju during the week, usually on the weekends, in small doses. Another thing, if you're new to Korea, is that if your boss or your employer ever takes you out for drinks, just be polite and drink, with your colleagues. And don't be afraid to say no if you can't handle it, because they can overserve you alcohol. That was another big culture shock for me. I had trouble saying no. And I realized it's okay to say no if someone asks you to have more or drink more. It's culturally respectable to say yes, but you are also given your own voices to make.
This is another aspect of Korean culture which is different to Western culture, isn't it? In the West, if your boss takes you out for dinner, then you probably wouldn't drink so much.
Well, that's true as well. Like I'd never tasted anything as strong as soju before, and makgeolli is more of a rice wine, which I prefer because you can buy it at almost any convenience store.
Okay, all right. Well, thanks, Natalie. My name is Jonathan, with our guest today, Natalie, from Canada. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.